First one is Luke 14:27 through 30. Then the other one, I'm going to read Proverbs 3:6. And the last one, Ecclesiastes 12:13. And then we'll go from there. Luke 14, starting at the 27th verse. And it reads, "And if you do not carry your own cross and follow me, you cannot be my disciples. But don't begin until you count up the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there is enough money to finish it? Otherwise, you might complete only the foundation before running out of money. And then everyone will laugh at you. They would say, there's the person who started that building and couldn't afford to finish it." Now, Proverbs 3:6. All of these I'm reading out of the New Living Translation. Proverbs 3:6. And it reads, "Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take." Amen. And the last, Ecclesiastes 12:13. I'm going to read this one out of the Amplified version. And it says, "When all has been heard, and the end of the matter is, fear God." Yes. In other words, worship him with awe-filled reverence, knowing that he is Almighty God, and keep his commandments, for this applies to every person. The word of the Lord is blessed. Amen. I have a question. It may sound funny right off, but if you follow me prayerfully with the help of the Holy Ghost, we'll get it together, and I'll give you how I came up with this topic. The question is, what am I doing? What am I doing? You ever found yourself in a situation and you ask yourself, what am I doing? Yes, sir. What in the world am I doing? How did I get here? What decisions did I make that land me right here? You know, what in the world am I doing? You know, you ever hit yourself in the head and say, man, there's been times I've had to hit myself and say, dude, what are you doing, man? Yes. Are you crazy? Yes, sir. Have you really lost your mind? I know I'm not the only one that I had to ask myself. Dude, get a grip, man. Yes. Gather yourself. You know, really? Yes, I can't believe you fell for that. Why did you make this decision? What am I doing? Come on. I'm going to help us try to not find ourselves in those situations as much. Now, I can't guarantee that you'll never find yourself in one of those. Because if you keep living, there's some times that things can just catch you by surprise. Now, I am not a fan of people that just snap. I just don't believe people just snap. I just don't believe that. I believe that a sane person cannot just automatically snap. I think that there are some other things that happen along the way. And this last one was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Yes. That just caused you to go. But I just don't believe people just automatically snap. But there are times that you will be able, that you'll ask yourself, what am I doing? Yes. How did I get here? With the help of the Holy Spirit, I would like to attempt to use some biblical principles and connect them to our everyday living. Now, we're only 14 days into the new year, and many people have already started making plans And some have already put those plans into action. Each new year gives us the chance to forget the year before. Regardless of how bad it was or how good it was, with the new year, we must move on. For many, the new year brings about an excitement for new beginnings, a chance to make some changes, a chance to do some things different. Yes. And if you were off course, or you think you were off course, the new year is a great chance to get back off course. If you have received the word from the Lord, and you've been sitting on it, you've been procrastinating on it, well, the new year is a time for you to get moving and to follow God's direction. And it's a time to go after your dreams. Now, to this, many people make a list of things to help them get started. Some call them New Year's resolutions, which, if you're honest, a lot of people that make them, sometimes they don't keep them. But it's good sometimes to make them. Because if you are going to change something, let's admit, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. So many people have started this list, and I must admit, I made a list myself. Now, when making plans and going after those dreams, I would advise us to consider 3 things. All right? Consider these 3 things when you get ready to make a list. Anytime you get ready to do a change in your life, I would submit to you to consider 3 things. Number 1, seek the Lord. Before, during, and after we make plans. That's one of the first ones. Number 2, I would submit to you that after you seek the Lord, and after you jot these plans down, and some of these plans, they sound good, they really look good on paper, you can see the end of it and the beginning, but there is a part in between that we cannot see. And during that time, I would ask number 2 that you ought to do is count up the costs. Count up the costs after you make those plans. And then, after making those plans, remember your primary duty, which if followed, will land us in heaven. Again, I'm going to go over it again. Number 1, before you make these plans, I would submit to you and I would advise you. No, I'm not going to submit. I will advise you. It's a good thing for you to do. It's not an option. And as a servant of God, I'm telling you, this is what you need to do. Seek the Lord before you make those plans, during those plans, and after those plans. After you make them. Number 2, I'm asking you, count up the cost of this plan that you made. Because on paper, they're going to look good. They're going to look good.
Yes, they are.
I remember a time I saw someone, and I've shared this with you before. There was a guy, I don't know what was wrong with him. I had no idea with him. What was wrong? He looked like he was on some type of drug. I had just started preaching, and I looked at him, and for a split moment, it was as if the Lord allowed me to look into him and see that his spirit man was held captive. And I asked God that night, I said, I want to be able to go over to that man or anybody and just snatch them out of Satan's clutches. And the Lord said, just say yes then. He said, just say yes. And I had a dream a few nights later. At the end of the dream, I saw myself okay. I was much older Now, this was over 20 years ago that I had this dream. I was much older. I looked okay. My hair was all right. It's already going white now, but when I had the dream, I didn't have any of this. And I really looked good. You know, like I do now. But there was a bend in the road, Sister Lily, that I could not see. That bend in the road scared me. It scared me. I went to my pastor at that time and I explained it to him. He said, "Preacher, won't you just say yes?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Just say yes." See, saying yes would have made me, I would have had to count up the cost. Yes. What would happen during that time? Maybe nothing. I don't know what would have happened. Right. But when you make these plans, you want to count up the cost. And the last one, remember your primary duty, which is, as we said in Ecclesiastes, the whole duty of man.
That's right.
Reverence God and keep his commandments. So before you make these plans, these are the three things that I would advise you to do. Now, I'm going to read to you a list of some New Year's resolutions, some goals or some plans that some people made in the United States. Listen to what these. I don't know whether these people were saved, whether they was unsaved, but just listen to the list that they came up with. The number one was to lose weight in healthier living. The other one was do some self-improvements. Then better financial decisions. Number 4 was quit smoking. 5, do more exciting things. 6, spend more time with my family and close friends. 7, work out more often. 8, learn something new of my home. Number 9, do more good deeds for others. 10, find the love of my life. And 11 was find another job. Now, just ask yourself, I don't need to see a show of hands, was any of these on your list? Was any of them on your list? As I did more research, finding out years previous that within the first week, only 72% of these people kept that. Past 2 weeks, it went down to 68%. After 1 month, only 50%. And after 6 months, only 44%. And as the months went on, it seemed to drop 10% each time. As I viewed these selections that were made, you know, I have a question to ask. I would also like to go over your list in your mind. Go over your own list if you made them and ask yourself these questions. Why did I select this goal? Why did I select this goal? Why did I? Now, once you write them down, I'm going to break down each one. Why did I select this goal? Number 2, who did you select it for? Who did you select it for? Number 3, are you able to utilize your spiritual or natural gift while going after this goal? Are you able to use that spiritual or natural gift as you go after this goal? Number 4 is an important one. Will this goal or these plans, will they interfere, delay, or hinder what God told you to do? That's important. Yes. When you come up with your own plans, will they hinder, delay, or interfere with what God told you to do? And 5, again, it's similar to 4, but a little bit more futuristic. Will this goal, these plans, interfere, delay, or hinder your destiny? Will they do that? And the last one, I believe, is more crucial. what will be the effect if you fail at this goal? What would be the effect? We'll give you some time to write those down. And then I'm going to speak to each one of those. Because I believe a lot of times we make plans and we really don't think them out. We really don't think them out. And sometimes the plans that we have can have a rippling effect on our life and those around us. The first thing I ask is, why did I select this goal? You need to ask yourself, what was it in me that made me select this goal? Was it Bible or God or prophesy driven? Was it influenced by something that came from God? Like feeding the poor, visiting the sick, praying more, fasting more, attending Bible study. Was it something that was motivated from God? Is that why I chose that? Or another one, was it a fad? Was it something everybody seemed to be doing? You know, each year there's a fad where people come out with things. Did you pick something that just was a fad? Because if it did, it's probably going to change up on you.
Yes, sir.
It's going to change up on you probably before 6 months. If you only did it because it was a fad,
yes, sir,
and it wasn't driven by something else, you probably didn't pick well. Another one, was it job related? That's not a bad idea. It's really not. But in each of these selections as we go down, you need to understand there is going to be an effect to it. If you chose something, and I hope I don't go ahead of my notes. If I do, then I'll just rephrase it again. If it's job related, if you pick something because it was job related, will that cause you to lose out somewhere else? I've seen it happen many times before. And then another one, did I select this goal? Was it connected to my health? And this is something that people in the church, we really need to do better at.
Amen.
And that is our health. We really, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, sometimes we make so poor decisions that if we don't stop them now, we are going to become a burden later on to our loved ones. We really are. And that's not fair.
Right.
That is just totally unfair. I know my wife loves me, but if I just let myself go and go and go, I don't eat right, I don't even walk, I don't do anything, this body begins to break down.
Yes, sir.
And now she is going to be put in a position where she's going to have to take care of me. There's already diabetes that run in some of our families. There's already high blood pressure that run in some of our families. And if we don't make better choices now, it's going to hurt us later on. Right. Some of us, if we're not careful, are going to become a burden to our children way before it's time. Meaning your age is going to already break down. But why are we not going to be, we just need to be better stewards over this body that God gave us.
That's right.
We have to be. Otherwise, we're going to be a burden to our children and to our spouses. The other one, did I select this goal because it was financial? Saving money isn't bad because it's a good thing. Now, who did I select it for? Was the second one. Did I do it because of myself? You know, it's okay sometimes to think about yourself.
That's right.
It's not always being selfish.
Right.
Because you thought about you sometime. But did you choose it for yourself? Did I do it for my family? Did I pick this goal because of my family? Did I do it to please them? Did I do it to become a better servant towards my family? Did I do it for my family? And the last one, and then did I do it for friends? I don't think I would pick some, that's just me. I don't think I would pick a goal for my friends. Now, I have some good friends. And through all the years, I have not had one that have run away from me yet. But I've had some really close friends. I've had some close friends. We had a deal, and we told ourselves, the three of my closest friends, we made a deal and said, man, if you would ever hear that I left the church and went back into the world, I must have lost my mind. Come get me. And we made a pact. No matter where we would come and get each other. Don't ask me if I lost my mind. For me to leave this, I have lost my mind. Come and get me. So sometimes having friends is not a bad idea to make changes for, if they are truly friends. Did you do it to please God? If you make any decision, any goal to please God, you'll never lose out.
That's right.
You'll never lose out. Any choice that you make that was God-driven and you chose it because this is what God wanted me to do, that is the best.
Yes, sir.
It trumps friends,
yes.
It trumps family, and it trumps yourself.
Yes, it does.
If you make a decision based off of God. Which will go into the other one. How important or significant is this person to you? Because when times get tough, you will need this to help you. If that person is really important to you, when that goal gets hard, when you get tired of doing it, when you meet resistance, when trouble comes, when the Bible says, when the enemy comes in like a flood, it is good to know how important or significant that person is to you. It may just get you over that hump.
Yes, sir.
It may cause you to try just a little harder. See, remembering who you are doing it for is powerful. It is very important to know. It'll keep you from throwing in the towel.
Yes.
When you choose something because of the person that you choose it for is significant. Paul said, I pressed on to reach the end of this race.
Yes.
And receive the heavenly prize from which God, through Christ Jesus, is calling us. See, he said he wouldn't let anything come between him and the Savior. So when times got tough, his life choices that he made was Christ-driven.
Yes.
And those helped him get over the hump. It is also good for us to remember as a child of God that if we be faithful unto death, he will give us the crown of life.
Yes,
see, when things come to bombard you, if you realize the reason that you're living this, the reason you chose this plan, the reason why you keep going for your goal is because that if I'm faithful unto death, yes, he'll give me a crown of life. That's so right. Regardless of what happens down here,
all right,
my mind is on heaven.
Yes.
Things may not go right down here all the time. But if you did it for Christ, if you did it for God, right, it will help you look at the end state. Now, will this goal interfere and hinder my destiny? There was a Hall of Fame coach by the name of Lou Holtz. He was a coach of Notre Dame. One good thing about him, he did not just set his players up for success while playing college football. He was known for setting them up in life. And at a certain point in their life, he would talk to some of his players. Some of them couldn't understand this. And he would tell them, this goal that you have right now, the plans that you make right now, will they interfere with your destiny? They didn't understand it. He said, some of you in here want to become doctors. Some of you in here want to become lawyers, and others in this room have dreams to be in the NFL. He said, then allow the plans that you make now to speak to where you think you're going. Right. Some of them still didn't get it. He had to go to some of them and say, connect yourself with people who want the same thing in life as you. Right. Some of them still didn't get it. He said, those of you that want to go to the NFL, why are you hanging around with a guy who wants to be a lawyer? He said, that man needs to be studying for his bar examinations. You need to be in the weight room or in the film room studying plays. Right. Because you, as a lawyer in the weight room, that's going to hinder you from becoming a lawyer. So in the plans that we make, will your plans right now interfere with your destiny? You need to ask yourself, if I want to be somewhere years from now, how are the plans that I'm making right now? Will it hinder them? Will it tie God's hands from blessing me? Will it do something to cause my family troubles? And we need to make sure that they are connected. What will be the effect if I fail? Will I not become what God called me to be if I don't finish this goal? If it is, I will submit to you, you might want to finish that. Yes, sir. If it's going to hinder what God called you to be. Will my family suffer? Will my family suffer? What are you talking about, preacher? There's some people that pick jobs. They pick a job that keep them away from their families. Right. You need to ask yourself, is this job that I'm selecting right now, what is more important? Will my family suffer because I'm not around them? I work from 5 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. Lord. And you do this because you have selected a job that requires you to do that. Will your family suffer? Will your marriage suffer? Will you being a mom suffer? You being a dad suffer? You may have a big bank account. Right. But what will suffer as a result of the choice that you make? And that is something that we really need to teach our young children. Don't do things when you're young that you're going to have to pay for years down the line. All right. We found a young man who was committing an act that young people do. And you know what I'm talking about. What young folks do with other girls and other boys. But where they were committing this act at, they had no idea it was close to a daycare. When the police came, the police had to let the people know, if you charge them, if I write this down, they will have to register as a sex offender. That's right. And it will stay on their career forever. One was 18 and the other one was 19. Of course, the owner of this place and the police gave them a break. But if it wasn't one, they would have just made a decision that would have ruined them for years upon years. Will your decision cause you to miss heaven? Or will it put you in a bad place to miss heaven? Now, listen to some of the New Year's resolutions that they believe some Christians made. They said, resolve to stay faithful to Jesus Christ. He is the one truth. He is the truth, the way, and the life. There is no reason to look elsewhere. That was a resolve all that they made. Another one, resolve to not let anything, my career, my significant other, my social media status, my house, become an object of worship. He said they will never allow anything to become an object of worship. As we've been studying in the Old Testament for years upon years now, I would submit to you the biggest thing that caused Israel all their problems, it wasn't the lying. It wasn't the stealing. It wasn't the murdering. God doesn't want us to do that. Right. But the biggest thing that irritated the Lord was their worshiping other gods. We cannot afford to put anything over God. Not our jobs, not who you think you are, not your family, nothing above God. That's right. This is another one. Some of you may think you should have already been this way. But they said, resolve to watch your language and not to speak destructive talk, especially involving the name of the Lord. All right. They said they're going to watch what they say. Yes. No destructive talking. To do that, sometimes you might need to separate yourself from different people. You know, one of the biggest and the best, thank God, the inventions of mankind is the caller ID. It's a blessing. Because when I see your name, if I know you have a tendency to take me there, I just don't answer the phone. That's right. Another one, resolve to prevent burnout. Listen to this. Resolve to prevent burnout by putting aside work one day a week. You got to get some rest, saints of God. Yes, sir. You have to find some time, yes, sir, to just be about you. And trust God to provide your needs that day. Yes, sir. And just enjoy the time He's given you. You got to find time for yourself. Yes, sir. Another one, resolve to talk to your parents on a regular basis and show them that you love and respect them. If your parents are still living, call them. Yes, sir. Call them. One day they're going to be up out of here. Yes, sir. Call them. Call them. Another one, resolve to be angry less. Resolve to be angry less. Channel any feelings of rage, which Jesus said are severe as murder, into worshiping God and serving others. When you get mad, just break out into praise. Yes, sir. That's what you ought to do. Before they take you there, let them take you here. Yes, sir. Really? I say this at work all the time, and I had to let someone know. I said, sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but if you take it that way, please don't. But you are not important enough to get me mad. You have to do that. How in the world do we allow somebody to get us mad? You're not that important to get me mad. All right. See, I really am a control freak. I really am. And if you can, look at Sister Julien, amen. And if you can control my emotions, I don't like that. That's right. I don't like that, Sister Lily. Because I am a control freak. If you can make me happy, you can make me sad, you can make me angry, I don't like giving you that much control. So I refuse to do that. But if you need help in doing that, before you allow somebody to take you there, let them take you here. Purpose it in your heart to do that. Resolve to honor your commitment to your spouse, whether in thought or in deed, stay pure and loyal to the union God has made. Resolve not to take anything that's not yours. This is going to get you now. Including stuff you can put in your pocket. Quit taking them people's pens from work. That is stealing. Somebody done paid for them paper clips. Quit going to work printing out everything on the job's computer. Stop doing that. That ink and that paper belongs to somebody. And we have to stop that. I know that will make some of y'all laugh, but whoever came up with that, they must have was really doing up some stuff. And I used to be guilty of that years ago. And then the Lord started convicting me. I was like, God, I'm printing out these packets for church. He said, you got a computer at home. I would get the little folders and everything, just walk right into, just open up the supply closet. And I mean, I didn't get the little cheap stuff either. I said, no, I'm getting this good stuff because this is going to the house of the Lord. I was just stealing these people's stuff. And the Lord said, stop it, preacher. And I mean, I didn't have to think twice about it. I'm like, man, somebody paid for them paper clips. And I got the best stuff. And I was able to justify this going to the house of the Lord. Stop stealing these people's stuff. Stop stealing these people's stuff. We have to stop doing that. Amen. Amen. And by the looks I got, I ain't the only one that's been getting stuff out of the company's storage and using it. We got to stop doing that. Resolve to speak about others only with truth, love, and not gossip. We got to stop doing that.
That's right.
We have to, First Lady, I believe it was, well, last year ain't been that long ago. It was been 6-7 months ago. I remember you said, quit praying on people and pray for them. We really have to watch that. We have to watch how we gossip and talk about people.
Yes, sir.
And some of the stuff, I know it sounds good, but we have to stop that kind of stuff. I remember what I used to do when I first took a job. They said, man, this dude is crazy. They're not going to come to me about anything else. First Lady, this woman came to me and she began to talk about this other young girl. She said she eat lunch with another man every day. She just been using these men and on and on and on and on and on and on. And I went and got that other girl. And I said, let's have a word of prayer. And the woman looked at me and I said, sis, she told me a lot of things. And the woman was looking at me and, oh my God, I hope he don't tell this girl what I've been saying. And I said, I believe she came to me because she want to pray about it. And I began to pray. I didn't pray specifically because that would have caused a fight between the two of them because of the stuff she was saying. But word got out. Don't go to him with nothing. And I had to do it 2 or 3 more times. And they knew, if you come to me and talk about Sister Lily, I'm going to go get Sister Lily. I'm going to bring her because that's why you came to me, right? Because you know I'm a man of prayer. You know I'm saved. So I'm believing. I know you're not coming to me to gossip. You must be coming because you want me to try to get a prayer through. So we're gonna pray about it. Word got out. Don't go to him with no gossip. And then I had another rule. And I will submit it to you to keep your name out of stuff. People need to look at us as the children of the Most High God. I cannot afford for my name to be tainted as a gossiper.
That's right.
Can't do it. And we have to make sure that we don't do that. We have to stop it. People need to come to us and know that we will pray for you. So the other rule that I had, First Lady, I would tell people, when people came and told me something, I said, I have to ask you one thing. Have you told anybody else? They said, yes. I said, I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me the specifics. Because God knows. Let's pray. They said, no, I want to know. I was telling them, sweetie, listen. I don't want to know. Because I can't afford for it to get out.
Right.
For you to believe it was me. I said, my God can discern your heart. And the Holy Spirit can take what I'm trying to say and turn it into something that the Father understands. So I don't need to know.
That's right.
I'm just going to ask him to speak to your situation. And that was my rule, Sister Lee. I said, have you told anybody else? I'm going to tell you, you need to use that. Because we need the church already. We already have too many bad names associated with us. And gossip is not one that I want to be associated with. Right. So you need to tell them, have you told anybody else? And if you told anybody else, I don't want to know the specifics. Yes, please. And just be bold enough to tell them why. Because if it get out, I don't want the enemy to put a wedge between me and you because you think I put it out. But I pray for whatever it is that you want. And we need to make sure that we do that. The last one, resolve to be content with what we have. You got to really do that. Say, God, thank you for what I have. Thank you for what I have. I saw another saint. They had this nice car. It was really beautiful. And I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted, I've been looking at that vehicle. I've been looking at it. I said, wow, man, that's nice. And I complimented on her on it. And it wasn't one of them fake compliments. Come on now. I gave a fake compliment, back in a few of my days. Oh, God bless you. I'm like, how in the world did you get that? But I've given some fake ones, but it's been like years ago when I was in my 30s. But it was a real genuine one. And then as I looked at it, I said, man, and it was the same one that I wanted. All-wheel drive. And as I went back in my car, I've been driving the same car since 2002. And one old buddy cranked right up. I hit him. I said, Lord, I thank you. That's right. I said, Lord, I thank you for old buddy here. Been rolling since 2002. Ain't never gave me a problem. I said, Lord, I thank you for my car that I've been driving. And then I looked at how many miles on it. I said, God, you've been good. You've been good all them years. It made me think about the children of Israel's shoes that never wore out. Yes, sir. I said, Lord, I thank you. And I was okay. You need to be content. Thank God for the house that you have. Yes, sir. You know it's cold out there. Yes, sir. Somebody wish they had the house to come lay in the bed that you just got out of. Yes, sir. Somebody would love to walk in the house that you just left out of. They would love to go home to eat the food that's in your refrigerator right now. And you know I'm telling the truth. Yes, sir. We need to learn how to be content. Yes, sir. Prayerfully, some of those was on the list that you chose this year. As I begin to close, I will tell you this. In all of the choices that we make, let us remember, seek guidance from the Lord in everything that we do. Look at your desires. We need to start asking ourselves, God, why am I choosing stuff like this? What is it about me that tends to pick things like this? Are the things that we choose, are the plans that we make on a weekly, on a daily, on a yearly basis, are they pleasing to God? What part of your life are you not giving God control over? Are there areas in your life where you just want to make your own decisions for? I told a co-worker on the phone last night. I said, you know what? Some people really don't want to pray and ask God stuff. They're like, why? She said, why don't you, preacher? I said, come on now, let's go playing around. You know some stuff we don't pray for. Why? Because you really don't want to hear what God has to say?
That's right.
Well, yeah, you really don't want to know.
That's true.
She said, give me one. Okay, you decide to go to a new job because you're sick of this one. And you get there and you ain't asked God and the Lord tell you go back and ask for your job. She said, that'll be a tough one. I said, well, that's why you need to ask him before you leave.
Yes, sir.
Or you make up you put your resume out there and you get a job way on the West Coast. You fly out there, you find a house, and the Lord say, I don't want you to move there. Why? See, these are things, reason why you really don't want to know. But we don't have to do this alone in life. Psalms 119 and 105 said, your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. When counting up the cost, Jesus wanted them to consider what true discipleship would be. it would take total submission to follow Christ as it does for us today. We sing that song, you've heard it. Yes to your will. Yes to your way. Yes, I will obey. You know, it will cost you something to follow Christ.
Yes, sir.
It'll cost you something. It may be friends. It may be a job. For some of us, preferably it won't, but some of your family members. But the question is, will you walk away? Will you walk away? I met a guy, and I'm closing, in basic training. I was 18, and I had just turned 18. And we joined forces in basic training. First, we was getting ready to fight when we first met. He was a guy from Pittsburgh. I was a guy from San Diego. And these East Coast guys thought the only way you can get a professional whooping was from the East Coast. They just believed that. The only people that could fight was from the East Coast. I always believe that's not true. You can go to Boise, Idaho if you're looking for it, and somebody down there,
yes,
deep in the country, got something for you.
Show you what it's about.
But me and him was getting ready to have a fight. But something binded us together. There was a group of brothers there. It was 5 of them. I don't know how they got, but all 5 of these guys came in the army at the same time. And they were all brothers. One of them was tall and skinny. He was the oldest one. And these other ones looked like they was big robots. Really. And they tried to terrorize our platoon. Me and this guy that was getting ready to fight, we began to join forces because these guys was going around bullying people. They really were. But me and this guy, we were getting ready to fight. I mean, we was going to have a real drug-out fight in the shower room. And we saw these guys coming. These 5 brothers would go everywhere together. And when we saw them, we looked at each other. And we was like, man, I know really these guys was known for bullying guys, taking their money from them, and all this other stuff. So the 2 of us said to ourselves, man, we might as well become friends. So we can stand up against these 2 guys here. So we organized together. And we went through basic training together. We went through AIT together. And we became so close friends that when we graduated from AIT, when he found out that my recruiter didn't offer me a bonus, this guy reached into his duffel bag, because that's where he said he had to keep the money going home. I thought it was crazy, but he said, when I get back to Pittsburgh, these guys know guys come from the military, but they ain't going to check my duffel bag. When he found out, Sister Lydia, that I didn't get a bonus, this man reached into his duffel bag and gave me money. That's how close me and him had become. The Army had a plan where they would send a trial basis platoons together. It just was a trial basis. So they sent us from Fort Sill, Oklahoma, all the way to Germany. And we had to go to 3 different places until they found a place big enough to accept us all. And we became really close friends. We decided to hang out, just me and him. Everywhere you saw him, you saw me. When you saw me, you saw him. We were 2 young guys wanting to travel Germany together. We would travel all type of places together. He was my best friend. We acted like brothers. We even started a lie that we were cousins. We would have our fights. We would have disagreements, but nothing was ever able to come between me and him. Women couldn't come between me and him. Other friends couldn't come between me and him. The section that they put us in, he wanted to become the driver. but because he was tall and had long legs, the section chief made him be advanced party where he had to run, and he really wanted to become the driver, but I was the driver, and he didn't even let that separate us. I didn't want to drive, but he wanted to. And I remember when he cried and said, I want to become the driver. And he asked me, are you going to become the driver? And then I was getting ready to say, let him do it. I was going to fail that driving test just because of my friend wanted to become driver. Until the corporal said, you know it's cold on advanced party. And if you fail that driving test, you're going to go on advanced party. He didn't even allow that to break us up. And one day, something happened in his family. And he had to go back to the United States on emergency leave. And me and this guy was so close, nothing could separate me and him. Nothing. And people tried to break us apart, but we didn't allow that to happen. And while he was going on leave, First Lady, something weird happened. In the field, somebody got hurt. And it was a snow blizzard. And my section chief asked me to drive another vehicle that I had never driven before, but it was similar. And I was a pretty good driver. It was this big track vehicle. And he said, Julien, you can do it. I got in that driver's hatch and began to drive this vehicle, and it was ice slick roads, cobblestone roads, and in my CT helmet, I heard somebody singing this weird, crazy song from the Beatles, talking about I Am the Walrus. It was a guy in the TC hatch. And he began to sing this song for me. He was getting on my nerves. He kept going, and right in the middle of it, getting on my nerves, he switched up and asked me, Private, do you know Jesus? And I said, what? He said, do you know Jesus? I said, wait a minute, man. How you go from singing I Am the Walrus to do you know Jesus? He invited me over his house. Him and his wife in his living room after we ate presented salvation to me. And I gave my life to the Lord. As I went back 2 weeks later, I met a holiness preacher who took me. These brothers back then, they would arrest you. You feel like it was the police putting handcuffs on you. And he took me to church. And I began to live a life pleasing to God. They will come get you for prayer. They would lay hands on you until they got tired. They would drill and pray and fast with me. All this happened while my friend was away in the States. And when he came back, I was so happy to come up and tell him that I had found the Lord Jesus. And when I told him, at that point, me and his relationship was never the same. Women couldn't put us apart. Money couldn't put a wedge in between us. Him having a set mind to drive, and he really studied for it. When he passed and they wouldn't let him drive and let me drive, that couldn't separate us. But when I gave my life to Christ, it put a wedge between me and his relationship. It wasn't me, it was the life that I was living. We began to not have things in common anymore. The places that he wanted to go, I no longer wanted to go. My mind was to serve Christ. And I must admit to you, it hurt. It hurt. My God, did it hurt. And way back then, I realized that it was a cost to serve Christ. That was my friend. I loved him. But the cost of salvation that Jesus paid on the cross for me, it meant more to me than this friendship.
All right.
And there were many times that I cried. And I think about my friend often. And that's been, I was 18 years old now. I'm in mid-50s now. I think of that guy. But I don't miss him like that anymore. My question, and through the years I've looked him up over and over and over again. And I just want to know, did he find the Lord Jesus like I did? I ran into his brother one time. Many years ago, and I asked him, how is your brother doing? And he said, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. His brother was much younger than me and him. Sometimes serving Christ will cost you something.
Yes, sir.
I haven't dotted every I, and I don't cross every T. And there's been a lot of times I've had ups and downs. But I'd rather serve Christ. Has it cost me some friends? Yes, it has. And I'm not talking about, see, it's easy to dismiss when you say they really weren't your friend. No, they were my friends. They had shown themselves friendly, and I missed them. It is a cost to serve Christ. And in the decisions that you make, realize it's a cost. Count up the cost.
Yes, sir.
And when you count up the cost before you make these decisions, you can answer the question, then what am I doing? It'll be following what the Lord told me to do.
Yes, sir.
That's what am I doing.
Yes, sir.
You'll be able to answer that question. What am I doing? I'm doing what pleases God. What am I doing? I'm making plans now that's going to land me in heaven.
All right.
It may not be logical down here. But what am I doing? Like the song says, the reason I live this life, I don't want to be lost.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm doing.
Yes.
Let's stand.
Amen.